Well, in this one we see Zoro and Sanji who, if they could learn to work with each other, may not be so overmatched, but really need to win this one.
One Piece, Chapter 310, Groggy Ring.
Well, hello, my brothers and sisters of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, here to bring you another review on the Davy Back trial-ridden, event-ridden tale of One Piece. Our last chapter saw us, of course, with them kind of laying out the rules for the second event, the Groggy Ring, and really Zoro and Sanji kind of just bickering as they usually do about who's going to win and everything else. And then, of course, it ended with us being introduced to the three guys, Hamburg, Pickles, and Big Bun. And it's funny because when I read the last chapter, I didn't put it together until this chapter at the beginning. But they're all things that would go on like a McDonald's or any type of hamburger or cheeseburger. Hamburger, the Pickles, and then Big Bun. So I just thought that was funny, all their names. Nonetheless, though, getting right into this chapter, it's a ton of fun. We go and we see the lack of camaraderie between Zoro and Sanji. Sanji does not want to be the ball man. The ball man actually has to have a ball tied to his head, and of course the ball man can actually participate, can do things, can attack other people and everything else. But ultimately, if the ball man is grabbed and thrown into the opponent's goal, they wind up winning. So it's so obviously you're trying to protect yourself, and Zoro should be trying to protect him. But what winds up happening is they bicker back and forth about it. They're paper, rock, scissoring over it, everything else, and ultimately what winds up going, and Zoro goes and he's like, come on, it looks good on you. And Sanji's like, I'm not going to fall for that, you stupid moss head. Eventually Nami goes and settles, and she's like, Sanji, the ball looks so good on your head. And he's like, that's it, I'm the ball man. And Zoro's like, yeah, it makes you look nice. You look like the prince of the stupid kingdom. And honestly, the humor in here is really good. It's really nice. It's lighthearted. It kind of gets you smiling. It gets you laughing. There's always some of that sprinkled throughout the One Piece universe, the mythos, the story. But it's really nice to see a lot of it front and center here because obviously, I mean, they just lost Chopper. They lost one of their crew members. And although Zoro told them to man up and everything else, and that's all true, they lost one of their crew members. They have to win this match to get him back. Otherwise, they're screwed. Otherwise, they'll be down 2 crew members. So it's definitely an important one, and they're already outnumbered, 3-2, and outmatched as far as these guys just being huge. So the match winds up starting, and immediately Sanji gets on the offensive and goes after their ball man, which of course is Big Bun, the half Fishman, half giant or what have you. And as Sanji goes to kind of scamper up him and do one of his kicks to his face to kind of take him out, he winds up slipping, and we find out that he's actually part mudfish, and basically his skin is just real slimy and slippery, probably emits or secretes some sort of mud or something like that, almost as like a protective type thing, if I remember from the Discovery Channel and the many different things that I've watched on there through my years. I believe that that's similar to what a mudfish is. But nonetheless, Sanji can't really get a good hold on him and winds up slipping and falling. And the whole match is really kind of a back and forth affair, but you do see some really funny stuff because Zoro winds up trying to block Hamburg, and he winds up getting tackled by Pickles. Hamburg winds up catching Sanji as he's thrown across the arena by Big Bun. And this is set up like a big soccer field almost, I guess, with a goal on either side, and obviously you have your territory, your opponent's territory. But really what this goes to show, and I think to win this match, I think that Zoro and Sanji are going to have to finally come together and just say, listen, we got to put our differences aside, and we got to work off each other's strengths as opposed to making fun of each other's weaknesses and picking each other apart. Because really, we're either going to live together or we're going to die alone, that sort of scenario, And I thought it was definitely very cool to kind of see just the things that bother them about each other, and then to go and see as the chapter progressed, them not really even working anymore over here, And then we wind up finding out, too, that you can interfere as well with this match if you want outside interference. Foxy says, I believe so much in my crew that I believe I need to, but of course you can interfere. And there was a really nice parallel that he drew with Nami, because Nami's like, well, she asked if you could interfere and everything, and he goes, what kind of pirate are you that wouldn't want to interfere, that doesn't want to go and, because he basically said, people just kind of, sometimes they will, sometimes they won't, depends if they feel compelled to, depends on how the match is going. But ultimately, how can you be a pirate and not kind of get that mentality, Yes, this is a fight about this Davy Back fight, this challenge type thing of events. It's all honor and everything else and whatnot, as no honor amongst thieves as a pirate, I guess you would say. But it's also about, he's trying to explain to her, how could you survive on the seas and everything else without ever having to do something a little underhanded or having to interfere in something that may not exactly be your business. And that's the truth. Time and time again, we've had to see things like that where one crew member has had to pick up another one and kind of help them along and interfere, so to speak, in their business. So, and I'm sure it's not the last time we'll see it, but I definitely kind of pulled that out and drew that as a high point, a high watermark for this chapter for me anyway. So, but again, like I said, back and forth pretty much the whole chapter. Sanji winds up, actually going and freeing himself from Hamburg's grasp, and, spins him around, nails him, what have you. Doesn't even get close to the goal. But really, the chapter winds up ending off with, with Robin, or not Robin, Sanji and Zoro pretty much just arguing about things, As things wind up finishing up, it's nice. It's no goal. Ballman Sanji didn't even come near the ring. These two are powerful contenders against the Groggy monsters. A fierce battle has just begun. And then that's where the chapter ends. And like I said, all in all, very fun, very lighthearted. Not to be taken too seriously, but at the same time, we don't want to lose any crew members here. So let's get our shit together. Yeah, that's kind of my thought and theory on this one. So my chapter question, though, for you, brothers and sisters, is ultimately, what were your thoughts on what I was talking about just a couple minutes back about the conversation between Foxy, the Silver Fox, and Nami? And what Foxy said, as much of a joke of a pirate as he is, yeah, they've got all this shit down pat for doing all the different, doing these different types of events and being able to win. But ultimately, I like what he said. And even though I don't take him very seriously, I took what he said very seriously about how could you be a pirate and not want to or have the initiative to want to interfere, the inkling to interfere with things. So that may not be, traditionally your business. So let me know what your thoughts are on that, brothers and sisters, in the comments down below. Feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button if you should think that I deserve it, because guess what? It certainly does help, believe it or not. And then, of course, subscribe if you have not done so already. We will look forward to catching all of you in the next one, Nation.
Remember to follow me on my other channel, as well as the Facebook and the Twitter, even the Instagram.